So what's the deal with you? Like, why are you still skiing?
Well, you know, they say skiing's easier to learn than snowboarding, but harder to master.
Oh, do you think that's true?
I don't know, just something I tell myself to make myself feel better about not learning how to snowboard.
I said I'd never step foot in skis again, but it's time I expose the truth. What up, Shredder? There are those common sayings in life that people assume are facts just because they've heard them so many times, and yet they've never investigated them to find out if they're actually true. Things like, do carrots actually improve your eyesight? Do you have to wait 20 minutes after eating to get in the pool? And is it true that humans only use 10% of their brains? Some are true and some have been debunked. And in the snow sports industry, we have the phrase, snowboarding is harder to learn, but easier to master. We weren't really sure about this one, so we wanted to find out for ourselves. Is skiing really harder to master?
No. Yes.
Skiing is. Is it harder to master skiing?
No.
It's harder to learn a little bit.
Snowboarding.
Yeah, in my opinion.
And is skiing easier?
Yeah.
I skied until I was like 6, and then I decided that it kind of sucked.
Skiing harder than snowboarding?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Have you ever snowboarded?
But I mean, how hard can it be? Stand up, point it down the hill. Famous last words, right? The only thing left to do is head to the rental shop, pull out the credit card, and send it.
Type 3 skier, baby.
But actually, first, we had to figure out how to get these boots on. After taking 4 to 5 laps, we evaluated skiing on 7 criteria so you can find out, is the saying true? Is skiing easier to learn but harder to master? Let's get into it. Number 1 is gear. This one definitely seemed harder. The first thing we heard was snowboarding boots are so much better. And oh, if you snowboard already, you don't want to put on ski boots. Even people that didn't ski or snowboard seem to know not to put on ski boots unless you absolutely had to. Nevertheless, we sacrificed our comfort and buckled down. Then we realized that between 2 skis and 2 poles, we had 4 times as many items to carry as when we're snowboarding. And then we had to be careful, or we might take somebody's head off or slip out around a corner and go down hard. This one is definitely harder. Number 2, getting on and off the lift. Okay, this one's definitely easier on skis. This was a nice change for us. Easy to load, unload, sit, and more. You can pretty much master it first try. Compare this to snowboarding, where this is a beginner's worst nightmare. The only thing that was hard about this was learning where to store the poles. All right, we're up here on a first run skiing, and you know, Dan and I feel pretty confident. We feel like we're gonna know how to shred first run. So to prove that, I guess that we have to not only learn how to ski today, but master it.
Which mastery seems to be a little convoluted.
Yeah.
What mastery is.
Definitely.
Someone said you have to be able to ride moguls, carve, hit jumps, boxes. Do you have to do it pretty? Is it still mastery if you don't do it pretty but still do it?
Right.
What's the...
Yeah, it's not styles, you know, style is subjective, so. But I think we're gonna try to prove today, you know, can we get a handle on this stuff? Not can we be a master, because obviously if we skied 3 days or 5 days or 7 days, then, you know, we'd probably be pro by then, but. All right, so we got 4 edges, 2 poles, and no fear. Jumps? You think we got him or what?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
My legs aren't used to being spread this much.
That's what she said.
Piece of cake.
Yeah, so easier to learn, harder to master. I mean, from here on out, where mastery is more like quicker reflexes, like greater controls. You have more balance points on skis, especially with your poles. You have 4 balance points.
Yeah.
So once the fundamentals come together, it's just getting better and better at that.
Sorry.
We think moguls are going to be hard, but what were your first impressions of skiing?
I filmed first run with my poles in my hand and slayed it. We're gonna try some boxes, do some ski board slides.
Only snowboarders go in the park their first run on skis. Number 3 is bailing. This one is definitely harder on skis. On a snowboard, you can slide out pretty easily. You just sit back and let your snowboard edge stop your momentum out in front of you. I guess the one exception to this is edge catches as a beginner snowboarder. Those are brutal. On skis, it feels like you go full ejection if you don't make your trick. You'll have more things to catch, more to lose, and your knees are dangerously exposed to twisting and tearing. I mean, the term yard sale doesn't really apply to snowboarding, so that should tell you all you have to know. The verdict, definitely harder. Number 4 is turns and carving. This seemed to be pretty easy, and it was definitely very fun on skis. We got some feedback not to sit back seat after the first lap or two, so we tried to bring the body more upright and get in some killer carves. I've seen snowboarders who have ridden for years and still can't do a proper carve without counter rotation. I mean, just look at all the carving obsessed videos on YouTube and you can see that a lot of snowboarders are still trying to figure it out. So the verdict, I'm gonna say much easier on skis. Number 5, moguls. I thought moguls were harder on skis, but Dan thought they were easier. In fact, he couldn't stop sending it. It's a little bit harder to stop while having to control all 4 edges and deal with a single ski gone rogue. But since Dan said I would much rather hit moguls on skis, and snowboarders do have a special kind of hatred for moguls, I'm gonna go with equal. Number 6, jibs and jumps. Of course, this is a discipline that could take a lifetime to master, whether you're on skis or snowboard, but we did our best in our half day of skiing. In fact, the very first run, we were hitting jumps and rails. And although I thought it was pretty hard to spin with 2 independent skis rather than just spinning one snowboard, I'm pretty sure we'd get used to it within a couple days. Plus, you do have to ride backwards, which could be pretty scary on a big jump. Despite all that, it's easier to find your center of balance, and there's less flex to deal with front to back relative to the snowboard. I'm gonna go with easier. Number 7 is looking cool. Okay, this one's downright impossible on skis. I'm sure you already know that, so on to the next one.
Say though that it's much cooler to snowboard.
I've gotta say, at this point, I'm still confused. Sure, we weren't exactly pros. Some might even see us and think that we were Jerry's. In fact, I'm sure they did.
Hi, Jerry.
But if we could progress this much in 4 runs, where could we be in 4 days or 4 months? How about 4 years? It certainly didn't seem harder to master than snowboarding, so I kept prodding to try and get to the bottom of this common phrase. Why would so many people accept this as true? Is skiing easier to learn but harder to master?
Dude, what are you doing?
I finally figured out why people keep saying skiing's harder, so I'm trying to master it. Lastly, if something is harder to do, why wouldn't you just take the easy way out? Well, all the best things in life come after hard work. If something is too easy, we don't want it. Think about winning the girl over, learning to play an instrument, or winning a championship. The payoff is so good because of how hard you worked for it. So sure, snowboarding is a little harder, but it's so worth the pain and effort to get the skills you need to have a good time. Plus, with Shred School, we broke down the process step by step, so it's a lot easier than learning on your own. I mean, it's not as easy as skiing, but you get the idea. Let us know in the comments, what do you think of this common phrase and why do people say it? Which one do you think is easier? And if you comment, let us know. Have you done one, the other, or both? That's all for today. Peace out, Shredder.